Maybe enough time for one call, Larry. What do you say?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and take one.
Perfect. David in Leesburg got something going on with his Dodge Ram. Go ahead, David.
Hi, Larry. Thank you for your decades of service to Central Florida for doing the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I've got a 2017 Dodge 2500 heavy-duty two-wheel drive. Got the 392 Hemi motor in it.
All right.
And the other day before the hurricane, my wife was sitting in it having lunch with the engine and the air conditioner running, and all of a sudden, everything in the instrument cluster just started going bonkers. Lights were flashing, gauges were flipping back and forth, the radio volume was going up and down. Everything was just going berserk right in front of her, and it lasted long enough that she was taking video of it with her phone to show me.
Oh, wow.
So she shut the truck off, started it back up, and it worked just fine. Any idea what might cause that or anything else I need to look for on this truck? I just got it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, David, I'm going to tell you what I would do is, I would disconnect the battery, and I would clean the terminals and the post of the battery spotless and reconnect it. And if you see any corrosion in and around the terminals and the battery posts, I'm going to tell you like this, it might be a good idea to consider going ahead and replacing the battery, even if it tested good. And the reason for it being is if you've got corrosion up and around on that battery, that's because of battery acid. And that means that the seal for the battery post in the battery itself is actually leaking acid out of it. It's not a lot, but it's enough to keep you from having a wet and bad connection there with acid on it. So, kind of look for that. That would be the first thing. Now, there's other things. Computers, fuse and relay center. I could go on for 30 minutes on what could be causing an issue like that. But the first place to start when you get something weird like that happening, it sounds like you were getting an intermittent connection, and what was happening was you were getting voltage spikes. And there's only really two things that will cause that. It's either a bad connection, a battery going wacko on it, or an alternator that's trying to overcharge. And if it cured itself, miraculously just by turning it off and starting it back up, it's telling me it's probably a bad connection. Let's clean those battery terminals good and try it. And if it starts acting up again, you're going to need to get it in by a shop, or if you've got a voltage and amp tester, in your garage at home, hook it up to the battery, and with it sitting there running, maybe with the lights and wipers on and the AC fully loaded down, sit there and watch the voltage and see if it starts spiking just out of the blue. Say it's charging 13 volts and all of a sudden it just starts spiking up to 14 or 15. That right there is your problem, and that would indicate a charging system problem if it's overcharging. It means the regulator and the alternator is taking a dump, and so what's happening is it's becoming intermittent, it's overcharging, and that right there is probably what was causing the gauges and everything else to spike and go crazy. So let's clean the terminals, inspect the battery, make sure it's not leaking a lot of acid. Try it again. If it acts up again, let's try loading it down, put a voltage and amp tester on the battery, and let's just kind of monitor that. If it goes crazy, we're probably looking more along the lines of maybe an alternator. David, thank you so much for the call, sir.